Insight 1. The first of these insights is meaningful coincidences. Have you ever been led to a discovery because of the appearance of synchronous personal encounters on your path? The first insight relates to the concept of coincidences by whose help we make personal, spiritual discoveries about ourselves. As time goes by, we begin to become aware of more and more of these coincidences. We are at a point in the developmental history of human consciousness where development will accelerate. The major evidence for this is the increased number of meaningful coincidences people are noticing in their lives. Synchronicity is the entry point, the measure of whether we're connected spiritually. These meaningful coincidences are tiny miracles steering us to where we need to be. Staying aware of the major questions in our lives or the help we may need increases the frequency of synchronistic answers. In Insight 2, we are presented with the concept that the world indeed has a spiritual design. This idea moves us away from a belief system based on rank materialism, which occurs when science becomes a dogmatic religion. This provides us with a worldview in which helping others is a cornerstone of progress. This point in human history can best be understood by a revisioning of the past millennium. In the early part of the millennium, human consciousness was dominated by beliefs promoted by the Catholic Church, one's proper place in society, humanity at the center of the universe, and the battle between good and evil. These beliefs gave meaning to life. This domination was challenged during the Renaissance and Reformation at that time. Humanity established a grand project of exploring the world, using the tools of science, with the hope of getting a new answer to the meaning of life. We see that we are in a new phase of human progress. Humanity is now awakening from a materialistic worldview and moving into a new outlook that recognizes spiritual design. This design rewards an attitude of helping others and making the world better. Insight 3 speaks of a subtle energy that is the framework for human conscious awareness. This awareness of being a mile marker of spiritual progress. This subtle energy can be obtained by an individual in two ways. You can take it from someone, or you can receive it by first giving it to the other, consequently sharing it. This second practice leads to a further spiritual unfolding. There is an energy previously undetected by science that forms the basis of all things. Human perception of that energy starts with an increased awareness of beauty. People, animals, plants, ecosystems that have a high level of that energy appear particularly beautiful. By becoming aware of that energy, we become able to notice when and how we give and receive energy. In our modern society, most people believe that this energy is something to be consumed from an outside source. We attempt to draw it from others by way of control dramas with which we try to manipulate others. Insight 4, competition for energy, gives us an alternative to this vicious cycle of behavior that clearly demonstrates the difference between competition and cooperation. A fundamental assumption underlies most human interactions. We must compete for this energy. Drawing it from others and protecting ourselves from others attempts to draw it from us. This leads to many unpleasant interactions. When we speak the ethic of giving and not taking from, or manipulating others, we step into consciousness. we begin to detect our ego's past manipulation devices, control dramas we have used to build ourselves up at another's expense. If we are mindful and catch ourselves every time we begin our control drama, eventually our control drama falls away completely. Insight 5. Energy abundance simply tells us that there is plenty of energy to go around for everyone, and that competition with others serves no constructive purpose. Thinking in terms of scarcity keeps us from realizing this. Real love is identified as the web that connects all of us. In fact, competition is unnecessary because subtle energy exists in abundance. In particular, we can acquire more by eating plants which have high energy levels, and we can ensure that the plants have high energy levels by paying attention to them, by giving them energy. Being a loving state not only connects our energy to the object of our love, but to a greater source of energy as well. This is the essence of mystical experience. Love is not an intellectual concept or a moral imperative or anything else. It is a background emotion that exists when one is connected to the energy available in the universe. Insight 6. Getting clear. A very important component of this process, spiritual housekeeping, requires the creation of new habits and the elimination of old, destructive ones. In doing so, we realize our true mission in life. In order to be in a state of love with the world on a regular basis, we have to let go of patterns and behaviors we developed to take energy from others. Insight 7. Following your intuition. Encourage us to trust our own inner guidance, to condition ourselves to do this. Meditation practices can be very helpful. This intuition is a gift of the Spirit. With our mission in mind, and as our lives move forward, we begin to notice synchronicities aimed at our ultimate calling. In this build-up of consciousness, we become aware of our intuitive guidance at a higher level. Through practicing mindfulness, we can distinguish our thoughts that are intuitions from mere calculative thoughts. Calculative thoughts are words that run through our minds as we make decisions, as though we are talking to ourselves. Intuitions, however, are not part of our deliberation over a problem or a goal. Insight 8. Giving energy increases synchronistic experiences. Teaches us that the more we receive this energy by sharing between us, the more frequent the synchronistic experiences, the better the guidance. Once we clearly see the process of synchronicity, what we observe most often is that people provide many of our synchronistic experiences, yet sometimes others do not feel comfortable talking to us. As a result, we end up leaving that encounter feeling as though we missed out on something they were supposed to tell us. Continue to visualize them moving above the ego into an authentic, united state. As a result of this, not only is the person lifted into a greater level of experience, they are more likely to intuit some message that they have for us. Insight 9, Fulfilling Human Destiny, is the culmination of the first 8 insights. It states that the next stage of human spiritual development will be when all people give and receive the energy openly and without fear. Sharing is the key to making this happen. We can now see how if everyone were practicing this virtue of uplifting others, we would quickly accelerate the spiritual transformation of the world. It works this way. When someone uplifts us, we feel it as an increased energy because we receive a greater experience with the divine mind. When we return this energy, it moves our heightened energy back into them. Both people doing this creates a hothouse effect back and forth, where both people feel their divine connection getting stronger and stronger. Think of the where to gather phenomena. When this goes viral, then everyone can quickly identify their life missions and can synchronistically move to the right place of service. That was the first 9 insights from the Celestine Prophecies as written by James Redfield. I first read this book about 15-20 years ago, before I even started on any sort of spiritual journey. I've re-remembered it recently and reread it, only to find that I'm actually living it. So if this set of insights does ring true in your heart, I do suggest that you pick up a copy of the Celestine Prophecy. As you see on the screen now, I'll be leaving links in the descriptions below this video where you can purchase a copy yourself. I will also be reading the book very soon on this channel. Now if you're watching this video after I've made the video, you'll be seeing a link on the screen now that you can follow to listen to the first chapter or whatever I end up reading. If not, you're watching a video of a monkey. Hope you enjoy him. Now please be kind to each other, be calm, be creative, love each other. I mean really love each other. Be the frequency that you want to receive. I love you all. I'll see you soon.